safe bowl here. And before we get started, we're trying an experiment that I popped in my head this morning. So I want to make something that is like, let's see, it has golden Oreos and kind of peach and caramel. It's a whole little idea that, popped in my head. I'm very excited about it. So we're going to try it today. It's kind of like chocolate covered Oreos, but instead of chocolate, we're going to use these vanilla melting wafers. And we're actually going to flavor them because I've had this stuff that I got at the beginning of summer and I haven't tried it out yet. And I've been very excited to give it a go. So let's add some candy melts to our bowl. Pretty generous amount. Just making sure we have enough. Okay, and then we're going to start to melt these down in short increments in the microwave. Okay, so I always start with 20 or 30 seconds and then I kind of work my way from there. Hello, thank you so much for making it. Okay, I'm also gonna get my Oreos out here. Okay. Let's check. Definitely needs more melting time, of course, but we want to stir that in between. You can see a little bit of melting starting to happen, but because I don't want to heat it too quickly, I'm gonna go probably 20 seconds for this next one. It's better to go kind of low and slow than heat it too fast. Okay. Oh, no worries. No worries if you miss a live. They always go up afterward. I truly appreciate you being here today. But like I said, if you miss any kind of lives, then you can for sure catch them later. Okay. So let me check on that and then I'll show you the flavoring that I'm using. I actually got it after the Bake Fest because it was one of the sponsors, and when you attend the Bake Fest, you actually get some coupons for the sponsors. And so I was very excited, and I actually talked to one of the reps and she told me about these powder extracts, and I've been really excited to try them. And so I got a couple of different flavors, and so the one that we're using today is peach. Okay, of course, definitely need some more time on this. I'm gonna go another 20 seconds. And this is what the powder extract looks like. It's a peach powder. They don't have a ton of flavors for like sweet baking kind of stuff. They have, I think, maybe 4 or 5 kind of fruity flavors. So I got pretty much almost one of each of these flavors because I was really excited to try them for potentially hot chocolate bombs if they work out the way I'm hoping that they do. So we shall see. And speaking of the Bake Fest, I actually did hear that tickets are going on sale very, very, very soon for the Holiday Bake Fest. So heads up on that. I had some people ask to let them know when the tickets go on sale. So I will be posting about that, but just a heads up because I did hear about that recently. I don't think they've actually set a kind of date yet, but it's coming up real quick. Okay, it looks like it's pretty much melted. It's very thick. I'm gonna try another 10 or 15 seconds. I may need to get a little bit of vegetable oil for that, but let me see. Thought I saw something pop in the chat. Hello. Can you make it out tie-dye cake for me? One of your videos, please. Nice blue. Yes, I have seen you in the comments. I am so sorry. I'm trying to make sure that I get caught up on comments right now, and I haven't had a chance to respond to you, but I have seen it. I just have a bunch of color combinations, but I promise I do have yours noted. So I can't promise exactly when I'm going to be able to put it up, but I definitely really love that color combination. So you are for sure on my list. Okay. Let's see the consistency. Yeah, sometimes they're just a little bit thick, so I am going to want a little bit of vegetable oil for this one. Grab that. Okay, we're going to thin this out just a little bit. It helped it a little bit. These ones are weirdly thick today. And sometimes that happens. Okay. So I'm going to try adding some of this powder. Technically, there is a way to, for all of Amaretti's stuff, they have these little indicators as to how much to use for food, how much to use for drinks. And they actually have a calculator on the website, I found out. After I already started using their products for a little while, I found out they had a calculator to help you figure out how much stuff to use. But I'm just going to kind of pop some in here and see how it works. I'm going to go with like, smells pretty strong. I'm going to go with, let's do 1/4 teaspoon. We're experimenting with this because this is my first time using a powder extract. And then I also want to make it kind of a peachy color, so I'm going to mix some pink and yellow. I had a company send me these, and they are oil-based, which is perfect for working with candy melts and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to add a little bit of pink and a little bit of yellow, because sometimes that is like the perfect peachy color for me. Let's try 3 drops of that. Let's do equal parts. We can always add a little bit more. Okay, can't really smell the peach anymore. And the color is super subtle, so I'm definitely going to add some more of that. Yeah. Oh. I think I want to, I don't want to add too much powder. You know what, we're just going to see how it goes as is. Like I said, this is trying it out for the first time. want to bump this up even more. And I'm going to add even a little bit more of the vegetable oil to thin it out. Okay. I always want to go just a little bit of time with the vegetable oil because you can always add more, but you can never take it out once you add too much. Okay, it's a better consistency. It's not as thin as I'd like, but we're not actually dipping the Oreos, so it doesn't have to be the perfect consistency because we're using a mold today. So I'm going to call it good, and we're going to grab our mold here. And then double check the chat, see that I'm all caught up. Oh, no, catching up. Okay, thank you. What are you making? Sorry for the autocorrect. No worries. So today we're making the some chocolate covered Oreo kind of stuff, but instead of chocolates, we're trying out this kind of peach coating, and we're using golden Oreos and then this peach caramel that I made I think last weekend. And the peach caramel is really, really good. I'll definitely be sharing a video about that very soon. So this just kind of popped in my head. I thought that sounded really delicious. I don't think I've ever really heard of, you know, golden Oreos and peach kind of flavors going on. Okay, so we're gonna get each of our little wells coated here. I don't want these to start to set before I have a chance. I'm going to tap that down. Just getting these nice and coated. All the stuff keeps shifting. But I've realized that if I don't put some kind of like parchment paper or surface down, then it's the camera has a hard time focusing because of the pattern of the countertop. Okay. Apologies, I need a sip of water. Okay. Okay, now that we've been tapping our molds, those little air bubbles come up, kind of fills in to try to make sure it's nice and smooth on top and there's no little holes. I'm gonna grab my offset spatula. Where did you go? Ah, there you go. Okay, just to clean up the edges. And then I think what I'm gonna do right now, I wanna make sure, sometimes I'll add the Oreos now and kind of press it into it, but sometimes I've actually pushed it too far and you can see it on the top, and I don't wanna do that. So I'm gonna pop this in the freezer to get it to set, which doesn't take very much time. And then I'm gonna add some more candy melts to the sides to kind of help reinforce it. Okay, making sure I'm caught up on the chat. Okay, so Jessica asked, does the peach flavoring give a powdery residue or is it pretty smooth? It looks like it's pretty smooth. This is my first time trying it out. So I'm curious to see, it looks pretty good. Like I don't see, it doesn't look appear gritty at least, so from the powder, but I'm very interested to see what it's like when it's actually, when it sets properly. So we're in this together. We're checking it out for the first time together. I love the counter, they're so pretty. Oh yes, my mom was very excited. She picked this out because her favorite color is purple. So you can see like all these little specks of purple all throughout. So she was very excited to find this or do this counter. It looks like custard. Yeah, it kind of does look like custard. Pretty good consistency still, so I don't know. I might want to pop this in there for maybe 10 or 15 seconds just to make sure it stays warm, especially because with putting it on the cold, you know, silicone mold from the freezer, it's going to start to set really fast. Just going to go 10. I want to make sure it doesn't thicken up too much on me. Because if you overheat it, it starts to get like this really weird thickness to it. I love the counter too. Yes, it's so fun. It's just for the camera, it like doesn't, it keeps wanting to focus on the counter and not what I'm working on. We found that out a couple months ago when I was making some cupcakes on the live. Okay. Okay, still looks good. Check on our mold here. Okay, I don't think that the bottom parts of the Oreo is completely set yet, but I actually don't mind that because it's the sides that we're going to be adding our melts to. Okay, so we're going to kind of add it to the sides just to make sure when we pop it out that it's not going to break. I'm going to pop one of my Oreos in. Okay, and then just repeating. Anyone have any questions or anything while I'm working on this part? Okay, double check. Yes, the countertop is marble. And then do I have a bakery? No, I don't. Great question though. I kind of randomly started making stuff. I was about a year out of college and it was really kind of difficult to find jobs and that kind of stuff. So I was just kind of in the meantime, I started making some macarons was actually what I started with. And I was kind of having some fun just coming up with different flavors that I wanted to try to make. Like, you know, caramel apple pie and not like the typical flavors that you would see like at a bakery in France or something, you know. So I was having fun with that for a while, and then I ended up, I had a lot of buttercream left over from making some macarons for someone, and I was like, yeah, I'll test out a cake. I was just randomly like, I'll try making a cake for the first time from scratch. And so I just kind of randomly did that. I had watched, oh my God, what is his name? Buddy Velastro. I had watched some of his Cake Boss episodes. So I, saw them decorating cakes, and I actually watched a tutorial that he posted online about doing buttercream roses, and it just kind of spiraled from there to, cakes and cupcakes are one of the most frequent things I make now, and I haven't made macarons in a long time, but that's a long-winded way of saying I don't have a bakery. I just kind of started at random, and I was actually doing some orders for family, friends, and that kind of stuff, but I just wasn't enjoying it very much, and when, pandemic hit and all that kind of stuff, the possibility of doing stuff online kind of just popped up, and then it's just kind of been like a spiral from there. So I focus on creating content because I am much happier doing that. I've always been like a perfectionist, so doing orders for people always stressed me out a lot. So I'm much happier doing this kind of stuff and taking, ideas and suggestions from the comments. I love doing that as well. So I'm very happy in the content creation side of things. Anybody who owns a bakery is a rock star, because I can't even imagine how difficult that is. Okay, just a couple more here. And it feels like the bottom's already kind of set, so you can kind of press it in there a little bit. Last one. Right there. Okay. And I'm gonna get my caramel set up, but I think I saw a thing pop up from the chat. Let me check. Hi, sorry I'm late. No worries. Thank you so much for joining. Hello to you too. What is the next mini cake for Mini Cake Monday? I was actually looking at doing another mini cake hot chocolate bomb, but I wanted to do it since it's still summer. I thought about doing maybe like a under the sea theme or something like that. So I've been having fun with that. And then the next week I'm pretty sure I'm scheduling a tie-dye one for that one. Another kind of summer mermaid theme, possibly, to, wrap up the summer kind of before we start to really delve into spooky season, which I'm excited about. Definitely want to get started on that very soon, because it's one of my favorite times of year. Basically, like mid-September through the end of the year is just, I love it because it's all the holidays and it's a lot of fun, especially with decorating and making treats and all that kind of stuff. So very excited. And then this is, maybe before I put it in my piping bag. So this is that peach caramel that I was mentioning. And it's pretty easy to go straight from the fridge, basically. You don't have to really warm it up first. So I love the consistency of it. And the flavor is really good. It's not an overwhelming amount of peach, but you definitely get the peach flavor from it. And because I added a little bit of cinnamon, it kind of has those peach cobbler vibes going on. Add a little bit more to my piping bag. Okay. I'm going to try not to overfill it because I have a tendency to do that. Okay, we're just going to go and do a nice layer right on top. Perfect. Okay. So then I'm going to seal these up. With some of my candy melts here. I'm gonna wipe this offset spatula. I'm gonna clean it first because I want to make sure it doesn't have any little set pieces on there. Also, it's kind of hard to scrape off the stuff. Oh, I saw a message from the chat. Okay, hold on. I'm loving how it's looking. Thank you so much. Wow, that sounds so pretty. Yes, I haven't made it just yet, but that's on my agenda for today. So I am excited as long as it turns out the way it's in my head. Do you have extras to family and friends, and how do I get in the extra dessert squad? I do. I give family, friends. Also, when we go out to pretty much any restaurant, I almost always bring treats for, the restaurant staff. And when we go to Starbucks, when we go to, where else? Like eye doctor, dentist, I literally bring treats to a whole bunch of people. Also neighbors as well. Let me see. Yay, spooky season, of course. That's from my sister. We love spooky season. Have you ever tried to make anything sugar-free or gluten-free? I attempted sugar-free once. I didn't love the experience because I was using, it wasn't, so I'm going to answer that question while I'm working on these. I was using, what is it called? It's not monk fruit because they didn't have monk fruit available in the time window that I needed. This was when I was actually still kind of doing orders a little bit for family and friends before I fully committed to, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm only online. And it was erythritol, I think is what it's called. But I didn't love the experience. Because it has such a different, it behaves so differently, and you really have to adapt a recipe to fit that. And I was, the person actually was like, I'm totally fine. Like if, things don't turn out very well, because I know it's completely different from what you're used to working with. Like, I don't care. I'll still pay you to experiment with it. And so I did. And there was one thing that actually turned out really pretty well, which was my pumpkin cake recipe when I swapped that out. But aside from that, I didn't love the experience, and so I haven't tried anything sugar-free since then. I have done a little bit of gluten-free baking, not for a while, but like I've made almond flour brownies, which are really, really good. And what else? Oh, when I'm making cakes, Bob's Red Mill 2-to-1, or not 2-to-1, 1-to-1. The 1-to-1 flour that they sell is I made a few cakes actually for one gluten-free person in particular that is a family friend. And because she doesn't get a lot of treats very often because she is gluten-free. And so she said that the cakes that I've made with that flour are like the most normal. Like they have so many treats that taste just really weird with gluten-free stuff. So she really liked that kind of stuff. But I do know someone who actually does have their whole channel is about, gluten-free, dairy-free, kind of like special dietary restrictions or dietary, what do you call them? Dietary changes or something. Like if someone needs to, they can't have gluten, they can't have sugar or dairy or whatever. I'm not sure about the sugar part, but it's my friend Angela from Bake Angel. And I will, after this gets posted, I will add her channel into the either description or comments, but she does a lot of that kind of stuff, especially gluten-free, dairy-free kind of baking. So I would definitely recommend checking out her page because it's awesome. Okay, we are almost done. Tap, tap, tap here. Doesn't have to be perfectly level, but they definitely look more level than usual because usually it's like a little mound when I add stuff because I like to fill it with so much stuff. I did a better job today. I'm very excited about that. A little bit right there to kind of cover that. Okay, a little more tappy tap. Okay, that had a bubble, but it's filling itself in. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to carefully transfer this to my tray. And pop this in the freezer to set. Okie dokie. So I'm going to take my spoon out of the bowl for the melting wafers because it's going to take a few minutes for that to set. In the meantime, I'll check the chat. We can answer any questions if anybody has any. And I don't want the spoon to get stuck in the bowl because I have to carefully pry it out of there if the candy melt's set. Let me check. Also grabbing a sip of water. Okay. It looks like peanut butter and applesauce together. Yeah, it kind of does. That's awesome. Thank you. What is it? Because my friend is gluten-free. Okay. I'm keto treat. Okay, gotcha. Gluten-free when you're young. Interesting. Buenas tardes. Hi, thank you so much for joining. Did I like it? Sorry, I'm trying to get caught up. Did I like what specifically? Did I like the gluten-free stuff? Is that, if you can specify in the chat, I would greatly appreciate it. If you were asking about the gluten-free stuff, I thought it was pretty good. I could definitely taste the difference, but like I said, the friend that I made it, the family friend that I made it for was like over the moon about it. She was so excited about how good it tasted because she's so used to having desserts that are, have gluten-free flour that just taste really off to her. So I was luckily able to make her a few different cakes that she really, really loved. I'm putting my packing bag away. What is your favorite dessert you have made? That's a great question. Let me see. I feel like it depends on my mood and the season because it's like, I feel like I go through phases, it's some points of the year I'm really in the mood to make cookies and then I love the flavors that I experiment with. And then other times I, really, really get into the cakes or cupcakes that I'm working on. And I really love, especially decorating cupcakes because, I prefer a cupcake to a piece of cake because it's just a better ratio sometimes to me, especially if there's not too much buttercream on it in terms of eating it. But in terms of decorating, I just love the variety of being able to decorate a cupcake in so many fun and different ways without committing to an entire cake decorating experience. So, but I also love making hot chocolate bombs. So there is no one specific answer for me because I go through phases of when I'm really excited and, have a lot of ideas for one particular type of treat. And that's why I have so much variety on my channel because I don't know, I get kind of bored just making one type of treat. So that's why there's so much variety that I love to do because that truly is what I most enjoy making is a whole variety of stuff. So I hope that answered your question. Getting caught up again. Gluten-free baking is really hard. Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah, it was literally the only change I made to my cake recipe was the 1-to-1 flour. So if you guys want a gluten-free flour, I do recommend the Bob's Red Mill one because like I said, I could taste the difference personally, but it still tasted pretty decent to me. And our family friend that's gluten-free absolutely loved it. I love the mini tie-dye cakes. Thank you so much. And I had Lenny and Larry cookies since they're gluten-free. Some say it's like cardboard. I've never had those before. I don't know. I haven't tried very many gluten-free things, but I did get some gluten-free Oreos to make some treats actually for our family friend that's gluten-free, like I mentioned. I found gluten-free Oreos specifically because I've never been able to make her anything cookies and cream or Oreo themed. So maybe I'll give one of those a try myself to see how they compare to the regular thing. I'm gonna check on these. All right, they're firming up, but I want to make sure that I don't take it out too soon because that peach caramel is kind of soft. Did you use xanthan gum in that cake? I believe xanthan gum is in the 1-to-1 ratio flour, but the Bob's Red one. So if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've made anything with that flour, but I'm pretty sure there is xanthan gum in there. Okay, we're gonna let that sit for like another minute or so just to make sure it's good before we take it out. Any other kind of questions? Thank you guys for popping in the chat. I really appreciate it. I love when you guys have questions or just, you know, want to chat about something. I don't like just talking to myself. Okay. We're done with that. We're done with you. I'm very interested to see how this peach stuff works. Okay, I can see that this is starting to set up a little bit, so I'm gonna pop this in the microwave, not heat it just yet. And I'm gonna get it ready. And I thought I saw some stuff pop up in the chat. It always goes away on me. There we go. Do the drinks you have, do the drinks you make have alcohol in them? Great question. Most of them do not. Very rarely do I make any kind of cocktail stuff, really. It's just once in a while. I'll either do that or like a mocktail where it doesn't have any kind of, anyway, again. Where it doesn't have any alcohol in it. Yeah, it's very, very rare, and I'll say like it's a cocktail or I'll specify that it has alcohol in it. And if you want to make the drink, you can easily just not add the alcohol and it's still really, really good. Do you like to bake? Yes, I do. I love to bake like a lot. Yeah, I think it kind of, I hate to say it again because I feel like I keep defaulting to that, but it really depends on my mood and especially like the time of year, like summer. I think I only baked one actual thing in July, and it was cookies for my sister's birthday. Because besides that, it's been so hot that I try to do a lot of no bake stuff during the summer. But then what's really funny is that I'm just sitting there like I want to bake something so bad, but I don't want to heat up the house and it's just way too hot. So it's like this weird kind of in between, like I want to bake, but I don't want to bake kind of thing. And so I am kind of, the weather is actually being pretty decent at the moment. So I'm taking advantage of that and actually doing some baking. So I really do enjoy baking. I feel like I go through phases where I enjoy certain types of baking more, like, you know, I'll be really in the mood to make cookies. When it comes to baking cakes and cupcakes, I kind of want to just speed through that process because I prefer to do the decorating side of that. I much prefer to actually decorate things. So I saw some stuff pop in the chat. 1 second. But I have to go. Thank you so much for joining today. If you want to check out how these turned out, I will be posting about those later. Have any new Halloween cake ideas? I am working on jotting some ideas down as they pop in my head. I'm very excited to really start on the Halloween stuff because I have a baking friend. Oh my gosh, what is her handle? Her name is Maria. Beyond Beautiful Bakes, or it's like on the tip of my tongue. But she is on Instagram, TikTok. I don't think she has a YouTube, but the things that she makes are amazing. And she makes like super duper cute things, or sometimes things that are like a little bit scary for Halloween. But overall, the treats that she makes are fantastic. And she's been posting since July. So I feel so behind when I'm watching her content. But at the same time, she's inspiring me. So I've been really wanting to start on Halloween stuff, but it's really hard when it's like 100 degrees outside and you want it to just be, a cool, crisp fall day getting ready for Halloween. So I am working on, getting those ideas down and all that kind of stuff. Okay, because it looks so good. Oh, the drinks look so good. Thank you so much. Yeah. Like I said, majority of them are not, just because I don't personally drink very much alcohol. It's like very rare that I do. And when I do, it's, a single cocktail and I'm done. And I tend to prefer like sweet cocktails if I have a cocktail at all. So yeah, it's mostly mocktails, I would say, on my channel for sure. Okay, I'm gonna check on these again. Okay, I think I'm gonna call it good. We'll see if it works out. I'm gonna start to heat up these candy melts again. I'm starting with 10 seconds. Okay, so we're going to carefully separate it from the sides and then just pop it right out. Perfect. And see, it's nice flat top. There's only that little spot right there, but not too shabby for getting all those air bubbles out. So they come out beautifully. And also, speaking of Halloween and inspiration stuff like that, I keep going to Joann's. I'm not even joking. I've been there 3 weeks in a row because I keep looking for their food crafting stuff, but they don't have them at my locations yet. But I keep going down the Halloween aisles and the Halloween fabric aisles just to, get some inspiration and get in the mood for fun, spooky things. So if anyone's like me and they really want to get in the spooky spirit, Joann's is a great place right now. And let me grab my candy melts. I need to heat them up a little bit more than this. Okay, that looks good enough. And then like these little sides, I'll kind of press on the parchment paper just to kind of clean them up a little bit. Just like that. Just literally give them like a little roll. Okay. And I'll spread them out a little bit. Okay, then we're gonna add my candy melts to a piping bag. And I'm just going monochromatic with this one. I'm just using the same exact melts, not changing up the color or anything like that. Get out of the bowl. It's like the slowest drip. Okay, there we go. Like I said, these melts are a little bit thicker than usual in general, plus adding the powder extract definitely thickens them up a little bit. I can't talk today. Jeez. Okay, and we're gonna cut a little bit off of the plastic tip here. Not too much though, I want a nice thin drizzle. And we can always cut more, but we cannot cut this. Okay, and then while I drizzle, let me see if there's any questions to answer. I turned out amazing. Thank you so much. Can I buy one for $30? What are some tips for new bakers? Ooh, good question. Let's see, tips for new bakers. I think one thing for me is to experiment. Like try different treats, try making different things. I think I'm gonna do a full drizzle. Actually, I'll do a full drizzle and then like half drizzle on some of them. Actually, let's do 3 different ways. So with, being a new baker, I would say, because like I mentioned, I don't have my own bakery, so this might be different for people because I focus on content creation. But I would say definitely experiment and see what you want to focus on, because you don't want to be stuck making something that you kind of dread every day. See the types of things that you really want to make and that you have a passion for, that you be, cool with producing a whole bunch all day, every day kind of stuff. That was my problem as to like why, because people ask me, oh, are you going to open a bakery? When are you going to open a bakery? But that's my issue, is that I love variety too much. And I know that that's kind of, you need to be consistent when you do stuff for a actual bakery business. So, I don't know, for me personally, experiment with what you love and make sure that that's something that you can stick with if you're going to like be opening a bakery or having a business or something. And then also, just have this too, with measurements, you can use cups and, all that kind of stuff, but your best friend is a scale, so definitely get a kitchen scale. Especially when it comes to making super finicky things like macarons and that kind of stuff, you definitely want a kitchen scale then. Not only the fact that, finicky desserts, but also it's significantly more accurate to do a scale when it comes to baking. For some stuff, of course, like, basic cookies or some kinds of cakes, like you can definitely get away with, like I said, doing the cups and stuff like that. I still do cut measurements for cookies and cakes, but sometimes I will measure it out via a scale. Let me double check that I've caught up on everybody. Yes, okay. So I did 3 different types of drizzles here. I did a full drizzle, I did a little drizzle in the middle, and then a little like half drizzle on the side. So that's 3 different ways that you can do drizzles over the top. And then I think I'm gonna add a little bit of sparkle to it. Just gonna get a little spritz. But don't get too close. Like that one has too much on one spot, so you wanna be a little bit away. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, and because that is kind of cold, they should set pretty quick. Yes. Okay, and same thing. They're not completely set, but they're almost set. But you just pop them off like that. You can actually scrape the drippings off, if you will, and actually pop them back in your bowl and use them again. I want one. I know, I wish I could like reach through the phone and like give everybody one. If only they had the technology. Do you guys want to see one cut open? Let's cut one open. Let's see. Which one do I not want a picture of? I think, I'll just do this one. Okay. That's, yes, you want to cut open? Okay. And there's what it looks like. See, it's nice. It's thick on some spots, but I try to, that's always my goal with candy melt in particular, is not making it too thick because I know how sweet that can be. So not too shabby on the ratio there. What do you guys think? It looks pretty good, huh? Thank you for joining my experiment today. And let's see here. I'm actually gonna give it a try, see if I can taste the peach in the shell. I do get a little bit of peach. That's kind of cool. It tastes really good too, with the peach of the peach flavor, the Oreo. Ah, my fingers are messy. That actually works really, really well. And I will be sharing the peach recipe, like I said, very soon. It's very similar to making regular caramel and just pretty much adding peaches, but I'll talk about that in a short, very, very soon. And I will make sure to add the link to either the video description for this live or the comment section after I post it. I think I saw some chat pop up. My best tip for beginners to have your clean station and wash your equipment. Yes, for sure. Definitely you want to be clean and tidy. That looks so good. Thank you so much, Vicki. Also grabbing recipes from other bakers, making them is good too. Oh yes, definitely do that. That's how I started on kind of testing out my recipes, is by trying other people's recipes and then adapting them to how I wanted to make them. They look amazing. Thank you so much. I keep missing Liz. I'm happy I made it. I'm so happy that you made it too. Thank you guys so much for talking in the chat and being active and asking questions and participating. I really appreciate it because sometimes I feel like I'm just talking to myself the whole time. So I really appreciate the active chat today. It's been a lot of fun talking to you guys. And any last questions before we are done for today? Did you guys like this nice, simple Oreo thing? I haven't done Oreos in a little while for a live, so I thought that sounded fun for today. Check the chat again. Okay, if there's no last questions or thoughts for today, that is our live for today. Once again, thank you guys so much for joining and being so active in the chat. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much, you too, Vicki. I hope that you guys have an awesome weekend. Of course, more shorts coming every single day. New tutorial video is scheduled, I believe, for Monday, but I will make sure to update about that later. And of course, next live is next week. Let me know in the comments when check out the replay or anything like that, what kind of stuff you would love to see for upcoming lives, especially for spooky season as we get into that. I think I'm going to start pretty early, probably right as we hit September or maybe just a little bit before, because I am raring to go on that. I'm very excited to start the holiday season content. So I don't see any more. Check one more time. I think we're good. Thank you guys once again for joining, and I will see you very soon. Bye.